So we're doing the strawberry honey butter first. I have all of the jars in the oven that has sterilized. If you didn't know, you can sterilize the jars in the oven. And I need to turn this on. I have my canner starting to heat up. I'm going to put those jars in there or keep them warm since I am creating this warm mixture. I do have my pureed strawberries from yesterday. I didn't finish my recipes and canning, so I just put it in the refrigerator. But this is the pureed strawberries. This is a pretty simple recipe. Is this from Ball? I'm not 100% sure. I need my spatula. I'm not sure. Is this from Ball? Strawberry honey butter. It might be from Ball. If not, no, I think it is. But it's a strawberry honey butter recipe. Kind of like apple butter, apple butter. It's like that, but strawberries instead. And I'm cutting kind of some of the sugars, cutting some of the recipes. It calls it for 3/4 cup of honey, 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of each because the strawberries are already really sweet. And I really don't like super, super sweet things. So I'm using that spatula to get every bit and drop. So we want to put that in there. And I need to go ahead and put the other ingredients. We are going to do, I use cane sugar. Some people use white sugar, but I use cane sugar. That's a 1/2 cup of that. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of honey. I have this like honey from Aldi's. I normally buy raw honey, but I got this honey really quickly because I needed it. So this is what we're going to use. This is what we have. And make sure you get all of the thing, like get a spatula and get it all out. I did the sugar first. I won't say obviously because not everybody think the same way, but I did the sugar first because if I did the honey first, the sugar would have stuck way more in the measuring cup. Yeah, I try to get as much of that honey out of there. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is one of those things that I feel like I just add a little bit more because more vanilla can't hurt it, right? But it probably can, but if it flows over a little bit, I'm not too mad about it. And then we're gonna do 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I use pink Himalayan salt when I am baking. And then we're gonna do a tablespoon. Is it 1 tablespoon? Yeah, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. This is lemon juice that I had already squeezed from a lemon. You can use the lemon like out of the bottle, glass bottle, not the little plastic squeezer. But I squeezed that yesterday for the sherbet, whatever you call it. But we are going to have all of this here and we got to bring it to a boil. But I have it on medium heat, not high heat. Medium heat, bring it to a boil, stirring it just so it doesn't burn. And then once it comes to a boil and we stir it some, we're going to lower the heat and let it simmer so that the mixture could get very thick. We're doing this right now so all of everything could mix together and dissolve, but we want to lower it later so that it can thicken up. It's going to take probably about an hour to get to that thickness. So boil, simmer for about an hour. Keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. And then if there's any foam at the top, it will disappear. So don't worry about it. Like if it start bubbling and creating foam, it'll disappear. It comes from the strawberries. You know it will be done when the spoon, when you kind of like it holds its shape when you scoop it. But we're just doing this for now, and then we're gonna put it in jars and can it up. I am not that tastes so good. But I am not going to put start the canner now. I am going to start it when it is full because I'm going to do this, the sauce, and the jam, and as many of them as possible to fit in the canner. And then I'll run a canner. I'm not going to run it after each recipe. So we're going to wait on this and then go for it from there. Okay, while we are waiting on the strawberry honey butter to, come to a boil and simmer and do all of that, we're going to prepare the strawberry sauce. It's super easy. All we have to do is put the strawberries and sugar in this bowl and toss it. It does cost for about 2 pounds of strawberries. I'm not weighing them per se, so I'm going to do like some scoops of strawberries. Like, let's see. I don't know. We're going to measure with our hearts. This recipe, it gives. Like, you don't have to have the exact. That feels about right. You don't have to have the exact. Certain recipes, you need to follow the exact measurements because those measurements will make or break the recipe, especially in the canning process. But the recipe is literally only strawberries and sugar. So for about 2 to 3 pounds of strawberries, we are going to add 1 cup of sugar. We're going to add a cup of sugar. Some already. We're going to add a cup. I'm going to set this to the side because we're going to need the sugar. We're creating jam and things. And we're going to coat that, right? We want to stir it all nicely so that it's coated well. Right, so that all of the strawberries are coated. I think this is about 2 pounds. Let's see. Basically, you want the sugar to be on the strawberries. Coat it. If the strawberries break up a little bit, that's okay. You're not creating mashed strawberries. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so I'm back. We're not creating mashed strawberries, but if some of them kind of like if the spoon goes into the strawberries, it's okay. We're creating strawberry sauce. Kind of the top on ice cream, cheesecake, different things. But you want to stir it as much, get this coated pretty well. And I would say that's pretty coated. A little sugar there, but we'll deal with that. And we're going to, that's strawberry sugar right there. I don't need all of that sweet, so I'm going to knock it off. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this and let it chill for about an hour. Being that these strawberries were already very cold, I'm still going to put these in a refrigerator until I prepare all of my jars and things like that so that we can go ahead and can those up with the strawberry butter sauce. Okay, so since the strawberry butter is almost done, I think we can start on the strawberry sauce. It requires us to take the chill mixture. It's been chilling for about let's say about 45 minutes. But remember, my strawberries is already cold. You are supposed to put it in the pot. Let's see. Put all of it in the pot. See how the syrup is kind of sticky? You're going to put it, not syrup, sugar, all in the pot. I'm about to try to get all of the stuff out of the bowl. I'm not leaving anything behind. we are going to do this, and we're gonna reuse this pot. I'm big on saving dishes, so I don't have to create more. But we are going to put this on the stove in this pot over medium heat. So this is going to be over medium heat. We're going to allow this to simmer and allow everything to dissolve. And then we're going to remove those strawberries and put them back in this while we cook this. But let's do this for now. Okay, while we are waiting on that to start melting, I am going to take out the jars. We can do that. This is a way to sterilize them too, instead of doing the oven. If you want, you could do it that way. But we are going to take these out. I have half pint jars. You can do them. Ooh, there's not much space. Let me see. I'm gonna have to grab the first one like this. And you're gonna pour the water back in the canner. This is a water bath canner. If you're not familiar with canners, there's no need to pressure can like jams and things like this. These are half pint jars, what I was saying. You can use, what do you call these? You can use pint jars or quart jars if you want. Obviously, it will store more in the jar, but you won't be able to can as many of them at a time in a water bath canner. But you can do it for your family size. For my family size, a pint size jar of jam at a time works just fine. So those are good for just lifting straight out. Like once these are filled and they are done processing, me needing to lift them straight out of the canner, that's what this is good for. So I haven't canned in a minute, so my brain and post-pregnancy brain is a thing for me. But there's my dog. And we're going to keep this water hot. I am not teaching you how to can. That's not what this video is for, but this water needs to stay hot while we prepare the sauces and things. So this is over medium heat. We just wanted the sugars to kind of dissolve and keep the juice in here, right? Like this. Looks like that's about right. Yeah. Do it like that. And we need to get those strawberries out of there. So I'm going to use this cooking utensil with holes in it. I got hot sugar on my finger. If you don't know what hot is, the hot sugar is something. But we're going to put these back in here. We're going to cook this, the sugar, the liquid, the syrup up some, still over medium heat, until it thickens and have reduced. So for about 15 minutes, that's going to take, because we don't need it as thick as the strawberry honey butter that's in the front, but we do need it to reduce some because it's still pretty, liquidy and runny. So for about 15 minutes, we're going to do that. This metal bowl is going to keep these strawberries hot too. It doesn't really matter, but it's just an added little something. And we got a few more. So just these three. I got that little burn on my finger now from that sugar. I'm going to keep that like that. And we're going to reduce this. Once this is reduced, we can put the strawberries back in there and cook it again for about 15 minutes and take the foam off the top. Unlike this one, the foam is going to cook down because we've been reducing it for so long. But we need that to reduce and skin the foam off, and then we're able to put both of these in jars. I think this will probably be ready by the time this is finished, because this will be finished in about 30 minutes once we add the strawberries in, and that's going to be probably enough time for that to thicken up. This is what it's looking like so far in there. And then we'll check in a minute. Okay, we are ready to go ahead and put these. You see how that reduced? You can even see how the color changed and see how it's kind of sticking, slow to drip. And then here, the syrup is thicker and will get even thicker once it cools. And then the strawberries are nice and soft and cooked down. So we are going to go ahead and start bottling them up. Well, canning them up rather. I am going to use just a regular ladle to ladle them in. I have enough jars. When I'm canning, I always sterilize and sanitize enough jars and tops, but always do a little extra just in case, because I would hate to be in the middle of a project and run out of jars. So if I don't use them, fine. If I do, great. We are going to move. I am going to do the strawberries in sauce first, put it on a trivet, and we're going to ladle these up. I know with the butter and jam, you can leave about a 1/4 inch head space. I'm kind of just telling you what I'm going to do while you watch me do it. This little tool for canning comes in handy. It shows you what 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch by just putting it in, like right here, to see how much you need. Because this one is 1 inch head space, and this one is, I think, a 1/4 inch head space right there. Yeah, so we're gonna do that and take the bubbles out. What I will do to take the bubbles out is literally just take this same thing and do like this around it. Yeah, like a debubbler. You can use that side or this side just to take the air out of it. And we're gonna go ahead and start ladling everything in it. Okay, so now we make jam. This is the last thing on the preserving, other than freezing some strawberries. Ball's jam recipe normally calls for 1 1/3. This is Ball's recipe, I know for a fact. It's about 1 1/3 strawberries to, I think it's equal parts strawberry, equal parts sugar, or maybe a little more sugar. But I'm gonna just do, the first thing we gotta do is mash up strawberries. I'm gonna say that's a cup. I'm gonna say that's a cup, and I'm gonna say that's a cup. Let's do about 4 cups. Okay, That look about right. This one you can play around with the sweetness too, but we're gonna do that much for jam. And we're gonna smash them, crushed, but I'm gonna use like a potato smasher. I wouldn't use a puree because you still want texture to the jam, but I use this and I just smash it up. And I'm gonna probably use like 3 cups of sugar, 3 or 4, maybe 3. Well, we can measure again once I smash these up how I want. It smells so good. Now all of these are washed and cleaned strawberries, obviously. I just did it in another video. I didn't do it in this video. But yeah, you want it crushed up, basically crushed strawberries. Crush, 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 crush. And this is kind of what that looks like. And where's the, I'm gonna measure. I'm adding it to this pot. I'm gonna kind of measure to see how much. That's about a cup. Let's say that's 2. And then I would say that's about 3 cups of strawberries, crushed strawberries. The recipe does, I'm going to get all those juices too. I want the juices. The recipe in ball calls for 1 1/3 cups in order to make, I think, 2 half pints. But I kind of want to make more than 2 half pints. Maybe like 4 is okay. Now I done made a mess. That's one thing about it. Whenever I do canning for strawberries, it be a mess, okay? It's a mess. So since we have, for every 1 1/3 cup of strawberries, it calls for 1 2/3 cups of sugar. And that's not what I want to do. I want to do probably a cup, maybe. Yeah, but we have to do pectin. I found some pectin from Kroger on clearance. It wasn't expired or anything. I used the ball pectin. If you use another brand, just kind of like follow the brand's instructions so that you don't do it wrong. So for the original recipe, it calls for 1 1.5 teaspoons of pectin. We are going to do, let's see, maybe, I'm looking for my teaspoon. I had it. I had my teaspoon. What's this? This is a half a teaspoon. It'll work. I would say this is probably like double the recipe. 1, 2, yeah, about, let me think. I say 1, 2, 2/3, 3. Yeah, so we're gonna do, I'm gonna do 1, 2. Let's start with 3. No, this is tablespoons, not teaspoons. I'm sorry. I had to double check. I almost messed that recipe up. It's actually 1.5 tablespoons of pectin for each 1 1/3 of strawberries. So since I have about 3 cups, let's do 3. Let's do at least 3 things of pectin, 3 tablespoons. Okay, we have this on. So the strawberries and the pectin is in there. We are going to stir that together. It's supposed to be on high heat. You know, this is supposed to be on a high heat. I'll kind of be able to tell if that's enough pectin. I think it is. But it needs to be on a high heat so it can come to a rolling boil. Like we want a boil so strong that we can't stir it, right? And then once that cannot be stirred, I'm just looking, making sure the pectin is mixed well, which it is. Once it can't be stirred anymore, we're going to add the sugar, and then we're going to allow the sugar, like we're going to stir the sugar in there until it dissolves, and then we're going to return it to a rolling boil. And then we're going to boil it for about an hour, not an hour, I'm sorry, about a minute, and keep stirring it. And then we are going to remove it from the heat and then skin off the foam. After that, we are going to pack the jars. So this one is a little easier than the other ones where we had to wait for it to be created. This may take 5 minutes max. Once it starts boiling. And for the sugar content, again, I say it calls for 1 2/3 of granulated sugar for each 1 1/3 cup of strawberries. Since I used about 3 cups, so that'll be technically 1 2 3, about 4 to 5 cups of sugar. I think I might do 3 cups of sugar, and I'm going to taste it to see if that's sweet enough. If it is not plenty sweet, I will add a little more, but I don't need it to be overly sweet. Okay, we'll check back in once this get going. So we are back. It is boiling and we can't really stir it down. There's a cup, 2, and then let's do 3. And since they were a little low, I'll do a little. This is still less than what the original recipe calls for. And we are gonna stir this in. This should be plenty sweet, but we will taste and see. And it's starting to thicken up. We can kind of do like a 1-to-1 ratio. Some people do 1-to-1 ratios, or 1.5 sugars to 1 of strawberries. But we want this to dissolve the sugar in there and then bring it back to a boil. And then we will want it to sit. The sugars have not completely dissolved. I can see them on the side, the crystals, the sugar crystals. But let's see. I think that's plenty sweet. I already taste it. I do not want to add more sugar than that. I would say that was about 3 cups of sugar because some of those scoops were a little lower than a full cup. So I would definitely say that's about a cup of sugar for good measures. I'm going to scrape this sugar out of this little container, this measuring cup rather, not container, just because I paid for it and I don't want anything to go to waste. Yes, I am that person. Yep, this is thickening up just nice. And we're going to bring this back to a boil. And if there's any foam that comes, we will scoop it off the top. But for right now, we're going to wait on this to boil and get ready to can it up. All right. Jam is done. We added the sugar. It dissolved. It came to a rolling boil. We let it boil. And we took it off the heat. It is now ready to be packed inside of these jars. When I say I am strawberried out, I am grateful. I am happy and grateful to be able to do this. And I am glad to have the skills to be able to preserve the strawberries and make different things. However, I'll be okay if I don't eat strawberries for another like month, maybe. This can be packed up to about a quarter head space. You know, I will be happy. But I'm gonna let y'all watch me do this, and we're gonna move on. Move on to the next step, which will be wiping the rim. You know, wiping the rim, making sure it is clean, which I wipe with white vinegar to remove any sticky residue that may stop the lids from sticking, right? From them actually sealing. So you want to remove some of that sticky residue that may be there with white vinegar. And then you put the lid on and you put the ring on. And the ring, you don't want it super tight, about finger, like you tighten it and then like tighten it one time. I don't know how to explain it, but they call it like one finger tightening, I believe. So that it does not seal too tight, like it doesn't have it sealing. Yeah, it's basically not too tight, and it could, release and all of those things. If the jars do not seal properly, you can go ahead and store them in your refrigerator and use it within the next 2 weeks on some whatever you need to. But if it doesn't seal, if you don't hear the tops pop, or if the pop, they still kind of make that sound right there, they are not sealed properly, and you want to go ahead and use that, because you don't want to store that and cause problems. And it made about 4. I think I'm gonna have a little more jam left, a little bit, but let's see, this one could use a little more, just a tad bit. But I'm going to scrape this pot and put a little bit in a refrigerator so we can have some fresh jam on something over the next few days without having to open up the canned ones, because I am preserving this for when they're not available. But these are good and ready. I can already tell the pectin is starting to cause it to solidify. Not solidify, but thicken up rather. And you can see it. This is good. I tasted it. It was good and sweet enough. And that is the strawberry jams. And we are going to lower this. Putting the last jar in. Okay. Is that about an inch of headspace? I'm going to add a little more water. Oh, God. Okay, mommy coming. Okay, here I come. Here I come. Whew. Okay, it's about a... We want that to come to a boil.